Welcome to Garden Crafts, where forgotten plastic finds new life and creativity grows right alongside your flowers. In today's heartwarming episode, we'll take you on a slow, joyful walk through 21 of the cutest, most magical garden ideas made entirely from recycled plastic bottles. From bottle critter planters to vertical herb walls, fairy villages, and even glowing bugs that light up your backyard at night. Each idea is DIY friendly, budget friendly, and full of real life inspiration. No filters, no cinematic tricks, just simple beauty the way your eyes would see it. These are projects that you can actually make at home using what you already have. If you enjoy creative upcycling, real gardening joy, and turning trash into treasure, please consider subscribing to our channel. Click like to support more content like this, and leave a comment telling us which idea you love most or which one you'd love to try in your own garden. Let's create beauty together, one bottle at a time. There's a certain magic in walking barefoot along a garden path that was once destined for the landfill. Under a patchwork sky, the morning sun spills golden light across a winding walkway, and lining both sides like smiling spectators at a parade are bottle-bottom planters. Each one a tiny burst of joy in red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and violet. They were once soda bottles, dull and forgotten in a bin, but with a careful hand and a dash of vision, they become something much more, a rainbow edging of life and color. Some are painted solid, others with dainty brush flowers or stripes. No two look the same, yet together they dance in harmony. The flowers they cradle, alyssum, lobelia, and baby marigolds, spill gently over the rims. Their roots dig into fresh potting soil inside what used to hold cola and iced tea. It's a strange poetry, how something once meant to be thrown away now frames the quiet beauty of nature. As you stroll this path, each step feels grounded in purpose. You can smell the faint sweetness of damp earth, hear the low hum of bees, and see how even the smallest efforts to reuse, repaint, and reimagine can create something stunning. This is an expensive landscaping. It's a story told in color and kindness. And it's so simple to begin. Cut the bottoms of your bottles, paint with acrylics, add holes for drainage, and nestle them along your walkway. Let your garden reflect not just beauty, but the heart behind it. One step at a time, your recycled rainbow will guide others too. In the heart of sunlit backyard, where bees drift lazily and the air smells faintly of warm soil, a peculiar train rumbles across the lawn. Not with steam or coal, but with petals and purpose. The Garden Express has no passengers, only the soft weight of bloom swaying gently with every breeze. At the front, a cheerful red engine crafted from a plastic water jug wears its paint proudly. Windows outlined in white, bottle-capped smokestack standing tall. Its wheels made from tin can lids, imperfect yet determined. Behind it trail the carriages, plastic bottles laid sideways, each a different hue, turquoise, lilac, buttercream yellow, linked together with wire loops and supported by tiny wooden tracks. Inside these cars, flowers grow in abundance. Bright yellow pansies nod with every gust, while purple petunias cascade over painted rims. Their roots dig not into fancy ceramic, but into the repurposed husks of soda bottles, now given dignity through imagination. A child's chalk-written sign stands nearby. Next stop, Lavender Lane. You can almost hear the laughter that built this piece, the hands that cut and glued and painted with love. It's not just decoration. It's a declaration of joy, of play, of seeing treasure where others see trash. And anyone can make their own. Bottles become carriages, jugs become engines, lids become wheels. Add soil, flowers, and whimsy. Build your own track across a garden bed or under a tree, and let your blossoms travel far in story, if not in miles. This is not just a recycled train. It's a garden in motion, carrying memories, color, and hope. A journey made from yesterday's waste and tomorrow's wonder. Under the sleepy warmth of an afternoon sun, the garden hums, not with sound, but with happiness. A soft breeze dances through the flowers, and along the pathway, a parade of yellow bottle bees smiles up at you with wide eyes and crooked grins. They aren't real, of course, but they feel alive in the way only handmade things do. Each bee was once a discarded soda bottle, clear and forgotten. Now, they buzz with painted cheer, yellow and black stripes, googly eyes too big for their round heads, and little pipe cleaner antennae that curl like laughter in the wind. Their wings, cut from clear plastic lids or food containers, shimmer when the light hits just right. One bee clutches a bouquet of faux flowers, while another seems mid-conversation with a marigold. Their job? To spread joy, not pollen. To guard the garden beds with silliness and pride. And they've succeeded. This bottle bee colony wasn't expensive, nor difficult to make. Just paint, glue, and a bit of vision. The kind of craft born on a quiet weekend with leftover supplies and muddy knees. The kind that makes neighbors smile and children pause. When evening falls, their little bodies catch the golden light like stained glass, each one reminding us that playfulness belongs in every garden, alongside the tomatoes, the tulips, the compost, and the dreams. You can make your own hive too. No stingers required. Just empty bottles, a splash of yellow paint, a few stripes of black tape, and whatever bits you find around the house. Make them yours. Name them if you wish. Let them buzz with silent glee. Because sometimes all a garden needs is a little laughter in disguise. In a quiet corner of the garden, where the breeze is soft and time seems to slow, a humble shelf holds a secret. From afar, it looks like a curated collection of ceramic pottery, elegant, refined, and delicately weathered. But step closer, and you'll discover the truth. These pots were born not from clay, but from plastic. Each planter started life as a common bottle, the kind emptied without a second thought. Now, with a few careful cuts and thoughtful brushstrokes, they've been reborn. The bottom halves are smooth and painted with a warm terracotta shade or soft eggshell white, finished with faux textures that mimic aged ceramics. A few sport scallop rims, others are neatly trimmed, each one a quiet masterpiece of transformation. Inside these vessels, flowers spill and herbs flourish. A lavender bloom brushes the rim. Rosemary stretches upward, its green scent mixing with the garden air. There's no rush here, only presence. These aren't flashy pieces, but they whisper a refined beauty that speaks louder than noise. The joy lies in the illusion. Guests lean in and ask where you found such delicate pottery. When you tell them, just bottles and paint, they smile, surprised, and delighted. It's a kind of magic, really, the way something so ordinary, so easily discarded, can be elevated into something lovely and so attainable. No pottery wheel, no kiln, just scissors, paint, and the willingness to see differently. So gather your bottles, trim their shapes, layer your tones. Add a touch of matte finish. Let your fingers trace possibility across plastic and give your garden not just beauty, but quiet elegance with a wink, because sustainability can wear any face, even one that looks like ceramic. In one cozy corner of the garden, laughter has taken root. Not the kind that echoes loud, but the quiet sort, the kind that blooms when you least expect it. There, gather like old friends beneath the morning sun, lives a bottle-headed family housed in painted wooden crates. They grin with crooked mouths and wide cartoonish eyes. Their hair? A wild crown of blooming zinnias in pink, orange, and red, bursting right out of the bottle tops. Some have hats. One wears a tiny straw fedora. Another dons a paper party crown. Their homes are simple wooden crates, painted in playful colors. Turquoise, lemon yellow, soft coral. But together, they form a village of personality. Each crate is a frame for the characters within. There's Poppy, a pink-cheeked bottle with a sunflower grin. Milo sports a blue cap and permanent wink. Nina has curled yarn bangs and a painted necklace. Their charm is an imperfection. It's in their joy, their oddness, their life. Children pass by and giggle. Adults pause, phones raised. It's hard not to feel lighter when you meet their gaze. Making them is half the fun. Soda bottles, acrylic paint, a few with scraps for crates, and imagination, which is free. Drill a drainage hole, add soil and flowers, paint the faces last, give each character a name. This isn't just upcycling, it's storytelling in 3 dimensions. It's building a community from trash. It's placing a smile on your garden and watching it grow, bloom, and laugh with the wind. And when the sun sets low and these little figures catch the golden hour just right, they don't just decorate your yard. They fill with quiet, whimsical life. Down beneath the blossoms, where the flowers whisper and shadows fall soft, lies a village too small for most to see, unless, of course, you're looking with wonder. Nestled in a patch of pink petunias and shaded by towering sunflowers, a fairy village thrives. The homes, once bulky plastic bottles, now wear bright mushroom caps in red, blue, and honey yellow. Each one has been transformed with patient hands. Windows painted with flower box sills, doors outlined in delicate white, chimneys made from paper straws. Their paths are paved with smooth pebbles polished by rain and time. A wooden bridge arches over a trickle of water made from a strip of shiny blue foil. Beneath it, a twig bench waits, and just beyond, a small fairy figurine, perched near a bottle door, seems to wave hello. It started with one bottle, a scrap of red paint, and a vision, then another and another. Soon, a community grew, a place of magic for those who believe in the small things. Children crouch here, rearranging bark pieces into benches. Adults often linger longer than they intend. There's something so comforting, So grounded in building a little world with your own hands, one made for what others throw away. It's easy to join the fairies. Just cut a clean bottle, round the top, and paint it with love. Add pebbles, moss, a hint of glitter if you must. Let your imagination run wild. There are no rules in fairyland, only delight. This village doesn't just decorate, it invites to pause, to kneel, to believe, if only for a moment, that something tiny and magical might still be watching us, grateful for the home we gave it. Along a weathered fence where sun and shade take turns across the hours, something unexpected grows. Not from the ground, but from bottles strung like musical notes on a vertical staff. This is no ordinary garden. It rises instead of sprawls, humming with a soft green rhythm of rosemary, basil, and thyme. Each bottle in this vertical display began as a forgotten glass shell, clear, green, or amber, rescued from the bin and repurposed with care. They now hang horizontally across a simple bamboo trellis. Openings cut along their sides cradle small scoops of soil. Tiny herb roots nestle in, content in their airy cradles. The labels are handwritten, soft with personality. Lemon balm, chives, cilantro. Some even wear tiny bows, tied with leftover twine. As breezes whisper through the garden, leaves rustle, and the faint scent of mint drifts into the air. It's not only beautiful, it's practical, alive, and entirely within reach. What makes it special isn't just its elegance or ingenuity, but its quiet challenge to do more with less. No space, no problem. A wall becomes a growing field. No budget for fancy planners. Bottles, once discarded, become holders of nourishment and green joy. You don't need perfection. Just a few glass bottles, a sturdy trellis, some wire or twine, and a love for small beginnings. Drill or cut carefully, mind the fingers, add soil, drop a seed. Watch your vertical garden bloom, not just with herbs, but with a reminder that what grows up doesn't need to start new. In every glance, every scent rising from a leafy stem, you'll know this wall once held wine. Now it holds life. Above a quiet patio where chipped tiles remember every footfall, something magical falls, not water but petals. From above, a curtain of green and gold spills gently from a line of humble plastic bottles, transformed and suspended like bells of life. They hang in rhythm, each one a soda bottle turned upside down, its bottom neatly removed and its neck cradling a single stem of nasturtium or ivy, painted in soft shades, mint, sky, buttercream. They look like candy in the morning light. The vines slip out slowly, seeking sun, trailing downward in graceful arcs that dance with every breeze. This isn't just clever gardening. It's vertical poetry. The bottles were rescued from routine, left over from weekend gatherings. Now they cradle life instead of sweetness. The soil inside them is minimal, yet enough to support a vine, to hold a bloom, to turn airspace into bloom space. It began with a pergola beam, then a few cords of twine. Add patience and a plant that likes to fall. The rest is pure joy. Now the patio is transformed. Shadows stretch in leafy silhouettes across chairs, and when the sun glows low, The bottle curtain glimmers like a stained glass window. It's perfect for small spaces, for balconies with nowhere to sprawl, for corners that need softness. It's a living veil, a privacy screen of blossoms and leaves, a slow waterfall that never dries. You can make your own bottle by bottle. Cut, paint, hang, fill. Let gravity help you build a garden that doesn't just sit, it flows. And in every drifting leaf, every gentle tendril reaching for floor, you'll see what's possible when trash becomes the start of something delicate and deeply alive. In a sunny patch just beyond the vegetable bed, where daisies gnaw like polite neighbors and bees zigzag without care, a curious teen stands watch. Not human, not animal, but plastic. Robots, in fact, made not in a lab, but on a porch with glue and laughter. Each one has its own charm. There's Sprout Master, with silver arms bent from wire hangers and a belly full of blooming geraniums. Blossom Bot sports a painted-on grin and googly eyes that never blink. Captain Leaf holds a tiny flag made from a popsicle stick and a scrap of cloth. They aren't menacing. They're marvelous. Their bodies were once water bottles, drawers, and bits of scrap metal. Now, repainted in chrome blues, lemon yellows, and mossy greens, they sparkle in the sunlight. Old bolts serve as joints, plastic lids as feet. Their heads tilt slightly, as if listening to the rustle of the breeze through leaves. But these aren't just decorative. They're guardians, silent protectors of new sprouts and delicate blooms. And though they may look playful, their message is real. Creativity protects, and nothing is too broken to begin again. Making them is an act of pure joy. A couple of bottles, some drawer scraps, wire washers, paint. Each guardian takes shape slowly, its posture, its personality, its name. And when planted beside herbs or sunflowers, it becomes more than an ornament. It becomes part of the garden's soul. Visitors pause and smile. Children wave. Some swear they moved when no one was looking, and maybe they did. Because in a garden like this, where trash becomes treasure and watchers bloom with their flowers, anything, just anything, feels possible. In the soft corner of the garden where morning light pools like warm milk and laughter tends to linger, a trio of cheerful creatures keeps gentle company with the blooms. A blue penguin with curious eyes stands tall beside two bright red bears, their faces frozen in joy, their tops bursting with petals like wild, untamed hair. They are not statues bought from a store. They are planters, but more than that, companions of the garden, born from the humblest of things. Empty plastic bottles once destined for the bin. With a bit of paint and imagination, each has become a character. The penguin wears a tuxedo of navy and white, its flippers painted with careful strokes. The bears, wide-eyed and goofy, grin with childlike delight. Their ears are cut from spare plastic and glued with care. And nestled in the cut tops, vibrant zinnias and marigolds bloom like celebratory crowns. They sit beneath the cosmos, sharing secrets in silence. Children call them by name. Adults can't help but smile when they pass. It's a scene from a storybook, but one that you can build with your own hands. Start with a clean bottle, cut it halfway, and save the top for your planter's crown. Paint a face, silly or shy. Add ears, wings, a beak, Let flowers grow from within. You'll be surprised how quickly a personality appears. And as your garden grows, so too will this cast of characters, bringing not just greenery but stories, color, and soul to your space. In a world that throws too much away, these penguins and bears are here to remind us some of the kindest things are made by keeping what others forgot. Deep in a flower bed that glows with morning light, something extraordinary is happening, though you might miss it if you're in a hurry. Between the snapdragons and the soft-spoken petunias, a party is underway, and the guests, a joyful menagerie made entirely of recycled bottles. There's an owl, round and watchful, with feather patterns painted in soft browns and oranges. Its eyes, made from oversized buttons, seem to blink with gentle wisdom. Beside it, a green frog grins with comical pride, its painted tongue curling out in a silent croak. A white rabbit peeks shyly from behind the blooms, long pink ears flopping slightly to one side. Each critter wears a crown of color, zinnias, daisies, and petunias blooming wildly from their open tops. None of them started this way. Each was once a tossed bottle, forgotten and plain. But with paint, scissors, and a bit of whimsy, they became characters. Each a role to play in this enchanted corner of the garden. They don't need a story. Their presence is a story. A gathering of cheerful souls who watch over blossoms and invite passers-by to pause, to notice, to smile. Creating them is as easy as listening. Each bottle will tell you what it wants to be. Round one for an owl, squat one for a frog. Add paint, cut ears or wings, glue on eyes, and let your imagination do the rest. Then tuck them among your blooms and let the garden become not just a space, but a tale. Because sometimes the most unforgettable parties don't need cake or music. Just a few painted friends, a sunny day, and flowers that never stop laughing. In the gentle shade beneath the rosemary bush, a pair of painted eyes watches the garden grow. Another glances sideways, its plastic tail curled just so, as though it knows something you don't. These are no ordinary garden guardians. They purr without sound, bloom without bark, and bring smiles without meowing. These are cat bottle planters, playful companions with painted whiskers and hand-cut ears, born from bottles and the imagination that refuses to throw things away. One sits tall and white, its eyes a shade of sky and curiosity. Another, painted with soft gray stripes, seems mid-stretch, its tail wrapped protectively around a pot of oregano. Each cat holds a bouquet where its fur should be. Pink zinnias, golden marigolds, shy little lobelias. They spring from the bottle tops like wild hair. The effect is both comical and oddly touching, as though each feline has grown something from joy alone. Children often name them. Whiskers, Luna, Pesto. They become part of the family, silently watching the seasons pass. And they're so easy to make. Start with a clean bottle. Cut it to shape, paint it with care. Give a face, silly or serene. Add triangle ears, perhaps a tail. Fill it with soil, a few seeds, a sprinkle of hope. Then place it somewhere it can see the sky. What begins as a throwaway becomes a story, a presence, a smile waiting in green. Because every garden needs a cat or two, not to catch mice, but to keep the magic alive. In the heart of the garden, where tulips whisper to passing bees and cosmos bend gracefully in the breeze, stands a figure unlike any other, not stiff and solemn like its ancestors, but cheerful, charming, a guardian made not to frighten but to brighten. The scarecrow wears a straw hat, weathered and kind. It leans slightly to the left as if listening. Beneath the brim, wide googly eyes beam over painted cheeks and a joyful grin. Its vest is floral, dotted with painted buttons, some red, some green, none quite matching. Its body, once an ordinary plastic bottle, has been lovingly transformed into a beacon of warmth. And its arms, 2 more bottles, angled outward as if welcoming every butterfly that passes. In this space, there's no threat, only invitation. The flowers seem to nod in approval. It didn't start this way. Once, it was just leftover packaging and forgotten scraps. But with a few brushstrokes, some glue, and a little straw, it became the heart of the garden, not just a decoration, but a story. Children wave to it. Birds perch on the rim of its hat. It stands through rain and sun, quiet and steadfast. And making one is easier than it looks. Use a sturdy bottle for the base. Paint with joy. Add a straw hat, or make one from raffia and cardboard. Fashion arms from smaller bottles or sticks. Give it a name. Sunny, Patch, or Miss Bloom. Place it among your tallest flowers. Let it smile over your seedlings. Because sometimes all a garden needs is a friendly face. One that was once trash, now standing proud in bloom and laughter, quietly watching everything grow. Nestled in a corner of the garden where the sunlight lingers a little longer and butterflies seem to pause in midair, a bench waits, not grand or polished, but joyful, built from nothing more than painted crates and an old plank. It's the kind of place that invites you to sit with a cup of tea and forget about time. The crates, once used to haul groceries, are stacked in a rainbow, orange, teal, cherry red. A simple board lays across the top, sanded smooth and slightly uneven, the kind that makes you smile with its imperfection. Plump cushions, rescued from forgotten chairs, offer comfort. But what makes this bench more than just a seat is what blooms beside it. 2 white plastic jugs, once destined for a recycling bin, now stand proudly as planters. Their thick handles loop through the crate openings, holding them in place like old friends linking arms. Inside, bursts of color, petunias, vincas, and ivy spill out like laughter. Below, soda bottle bottoms line the gravel in curved edging, painted in matching pastels, completing the little haven. You don't need a large yard or expensive furniture to build peace. Just what's around you. Old crates, forgotten jugs, leftover paint. A bench like this doesn't just support your weight. It holds your moments of reading, of resting, of watching birds land just a few feet away. Build one on a weekend. Let each element carry a memory. Let the bottles bloom. Let the jugs cradle life. Let the crates lift you. Because sometimes in the quiet rhythm of reuse, we find the most comfortable place of all. In a garden stitched with sunlight and the scent of lavender, a flock is gathered, not in the sky, but between the tulips and towering sunflowers. Their feathers don't ruffle in wind. Their beaks do not peck, but they bring life just the same. These are the birds of the bottle. The joyful wing creatures born not from nests, but from plastic forgotten in bins. A blue one rests on a bamboo stick, its wings wide with pride. Another, fire truck red, swoops just above the cosmos, tied gently with clear twine that lets it hover like magic. Their bodies, once soda bottles, now painted with bright acrylics, shine in the sunlight like little stained glass windows. Their beaks are clever, reused caps painted gold or orange. Wings are shaped from soft-cut plastic, curled gently with the warmth of a candle. And each eye, usually wide and round, seems to watch over the garden like a quiet friend. They don't chirp, but they speak of creativity, of second chances, of play. Building one is as fun as it sounds. Cut your bottle, add paint, glue the parts. Let your hands be messy. Let your colors run wild. Then stake them in your soil or let them dangle from branches above. With each bird you place, your garden begins to hum, not just with bees and wind, but with delight. A flock made from nothing, now watching the blooms grow, dancing gently whenever the breeze remembers. These birds don't fly south. They stay, season after season, their wings always open. Because sometimes the truest flight begins after you've been thrown away, and someone sees beauty in you again. There's a patch of earth, not larger than a picnic blanket, where the air smells of promise and damp soil. In neat little rows, like soldiers in quiet formation, stand bottle planters, green, clean, ready. They don't boast or bloom just yet. They grow slowly, quietly, purposefully. Each planter began as a simple plastic bottle, once emptied and forgotten. Now it holds life. The bottoms are trimmed, the sides smooth. Inside, dark soil holds the dreams of a tomato, the hope of a pepper, the first stretch of a lettuce leaf. Painted labels rise from the soil, small signs made of craft sticks or reused tags. Spinach star, rocket leaf, basil brigade. They sound like stories, and they are. Each bottle carries its own chapter. In the middle, a painted board leans into the breeze. Grow your own food. It's not just a suggestion. It's a quiet revolution. This little farm didn't require a plot of land, only intention. No expensive containers, just what was already on hand. It's perfect for small backyards, patios, even a balcony ledge. The kind of garden that grows with you. The kind that says, yes, you can. To build one, gather your bottles. Cut with care. Poke a few holes. Paint them if you like. Fill with soil. Press in a seed or seedling. Water gently. Watch, wait, smile. What grows is more than vegetables. It's rhythm. It's confidence. It's the soft joy of harvesting something you made space for. And when those first leaves unfurl, the sunlight will catch on plastic not as trash, but as proof that beauty, usefulness, and change begin with the smallest of things. Tucked into a quiet patio corner, where the bricks still hold yesterday's sun and shadows stretch slowly across the floor, sits a crate. Not just any crate, but mosaic of intention and tenderness. Inside, a collection of bottle bottoms, carefully cut, lovingly painted, form a garden quilt. Each one wears a coat of soft pastel, lavender, mint, pale rose, buttercream. They sit shoulder to shoulder, no two quite alike, but together forming a symphony of softness. A mosaic not of stone, but of saved plastic and blooming hearts. In each pot, a single flower. A pansy with a face like a daydream. A violas in deep indigo. A tiny snapdragon just beginning to open, their roots nestling into soil where soda once swirled. What was once waste is now poetry in rows. The crate itself tells its own story. Worn wood, repurposed from an old fruit stand, lined with floral cloth that once lived as a napkin. It cradles this pastel garden with quiet dignity, as if it knows how much love sits inside it. And this project, this moment, asks little: a few bottles, a soft brush, leftover paint, a seedling or two. But what it gives is something that lingers. A calm joy, a visual sigh, a whisper of color that makes the morning feel more like a song. You don't need land or time in excess. Just care, just the willingness to see potential in the forgotten. To let your garden bloom, not with extravagance, but with gentleness. Because sometimes the most beautiful thing in a garden isn't the biggest bloom. It's the tiny pastel petal rising from what once was trash, now held by your hand, now part of your world. In a garden where the carrots stand tall and the basil leans into the breeze, a cheerful army has taken root. Not with boots or battle cries, but with painted grins and bottle cap helmets. They line the rows of vegetables in bright formation. Bottle soldiers painted in joyful hues of green, blue, and sunshine yellow. Each wears a uniform of imagination. Some with tiny badges painted on their fronts, others with comical mustaches or sunglasses drawn in bold strokes. Their helmets are cut from old container lids or bits of colored foam, and from their tops, tufts of thyme or bursts of petunias spring like living plumes. They don't protect from pests, but from boredom, from waste, from the idea that recycling can't be fun. It began with a single bottle, a bit of leftover paint, and a need for joy in the soil. Then came more. Some named Captain Sprout, others Sergeant Mint. A few hold signs like "No weeds allowed" or "Compost is cool." They've turned the garden into something more than productive. It's playful, a living story waiting for every passerby. You can build your own battalion too. Cut your bottles, paint their coats, glue on eyes, and let your creativity roam. Fill their heads with herbs, or even just stones for weight. Place them proudly among your rows. Let them stand tall and bring order to the wild bloom. They won't salute, but they'll stand through rain and sun, cheering your seedlings silently, making your garden not just a place of growth, but of character. Because sometimes all it takes to defend a garden is a little laughter in uniform, where the garden bends toward the wild and the flowers tumble into organized chaos. Something tall and wonderful stand between the blooms. Totem towers, pieced together from old plastic bottles and bursts of color. Each one rises like a story. The base might be painted in sunburst yellow, the middle section in cobalt dots, the top wrapped in vines of green. Some have faces, smiling or wide-eyed. Others were motifs, clouds, stars, painted feathers. Their stacked segments were once separate, once tossed. Now they stand tall, proud, and utterly unique. This wasn't built in a day. It was built in moments, bottle by bottle, cut and smoothed, then painted with love. Each tower is assembled by sliding trim bottle sections over a central rod, maybe bamboo, maybe an old curtain rod stuck in the dirt. The bottles are staggered and turned, creating depth, texture, and whimsy. They mark the edges of flower beds not with stiff bricks or stones, but with joy. They give the garden height, variation, surprise. A child passes and stops, fingers trailing along the curved plastic. Adults lean and ask, what are they made of? And when the light falls just right, morning sun or twilight glow, the painted towers shimmer like glass, catching color from the blooms around them and reflecting back something entirely new. To make your own is to play. Cut different bottle sections, paint in layers, stack with imagination, anchor in soil. No tower needs to match the next. Let each be its own little tale, tall and kind. Because every garden border can be a gallery, every discarded bottle a piece of sculpture, and every step to the path a walk through stories you built by hand. When the sun sinks low and the garden folds into hush, something curious begins to shimmer just above the soil. A gentle blue glow. Here, a flicker of green. There, they are not fireflies, not stars, but bottle bugs, crafted by hand, glowing with quiet magic. Each one was once just plastic, a water bottle, a juice container, long forgotten in a corner. But now, with paint that catches moonlight, or better yet, glows on its own, they become guardians of the night. Their bodies are brushed in glow-in-the-dark acrylics, layered in soft spirals or stripes. Their eyes are bottle caps painted white with tiny pupils, giving each one its own silly expression. Wire antennae curl from their tops. Wings, cut from plastic scraps or even old folders, arch outward like dragonflies ready to lift off. By day, they're playful and bright. By night, they become quiet lights along your path. Nestled between marigolds, tucked beneath tomato leaves, perched on a stone, they turn your garden into a dreamy dreamscape. You don't need wiring, no batteries, just the sun by day to charge the paint. Let them drink in the light, and they'll give it back long after darkness falls. Creating them is a joy for all ages, a soft glow for the bedtime gardener, a guide for late-night wanderers, a surprise for early risers catching the last of their light before morning bird song takes over. They don't hum, they don't buzz, but they glow with purpose. They remind us that light can come from the simplest things, even the plastic we thought was done. In the stillness of evening, when the world quiets and shadows lengthen, these tiny bottle bugs whisper softly. The garden is still awake. There's a corner of the garden where things don't just grow. They twirl, they dance, they play with the wind. From a distance, it looks like color in motion. Closer, you see their forms. Simple bottle spinners, each turning gently as the breeze wanders through. They were once plain bottles. Now, their bodies are sliced into curling petals, painted in sunset oranges and cloud sky blues. Mounted atop slender bamboo stakes, they rise above the kale and carrot rows, spinning with every gust like miniature windmills whispering hello. The spinning is soft, almost meditative. No screech, no rattle, just motion. The petals catch light and shimmer like garden spirits at play. Some wear stripes, others polka dots. One has glitter sealed in its blades. A few have names: Twirl, Breezy, Spinny, written in marker near the bottle cap hubs. But these aren't just for show. Their motion deters small pests. Their shine keeps the birds at bay. And for the gardener, they offer a kind of delight that has nothing to do with yield or harvest. Creating them is an act of joy. Cut long strips down the sides of a clean bottle. Curl them outward like sun rays. Add color, seal it in. Attach a stick through the cap with a nail or wire. Plant it deep in soil and wait for wind. In minutes, the garden comes alive, not just with growth, but with movement. Children race past, watching them spin. Grandparents sit nearby, sipping tea to the sound of leaves and twirling plastic. Because sometimes beauty moves, and when it does, it tells you. Even stillness is full of life when the wind arrives.